There we go. I'll do one more thing. We're going to share this to the world. This is going to be very exciting. We're excited to have Abie on. We're excited to have all you folks on. And one more moment. I'm sorry. Oh, of course. Have to edit the post. Okay. Crash. Of course. There we go. Save. Okay, everyone. We're going to share this to the world. And there we go. Okay. A little bit higher. Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. I see we got Hal over there, Yosilanda. We're really excited you guys are coming on board. Let's see. Okay, just one more moment. If you can make your faces visible, that would help a tremendous amount. Okay, we have to share it to a few more places, so one moment. Okay, copy. Okay. We're going to share this to the Shabbat.com group. So that's exciting. And we're going to share it. We have this shared to all sorts of music groups over here. And I think this is the first time that we are going to be doing this. Hi, Mordechai Ben Avram. Nice to see you. Say hello to everyone here. Share to a page. There we go. There we go. Okay, we're posting. Okay. Hi, everyone. Okay, so if you are on Zoom, okay, we're filling up on Zoom. If you would kindly unmute yourselves for a moment. Let's have some noise. Want to hear noise. That would be fun. Hi, guys. This is a music class. We need noise. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi. For everyone watching on Facebook, you're going to miss out on the fun. You should sign up. Don't just be an observer in life. Be a participant. Okay. Okay, one more moment, and we're going to introduce this class. Just make sure that the groups get the notification that we're live. Okay. Very good. Okay, I think enough people know about this, and be a participant. Okay, there we go. Okay. One more moment. There we go. I have to mute that out. Okay, you can all hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to say hello to you. We have people watching in all sorts of different forums over here, but you guys are the only guys who I'm going to be able to speak to. So let's see who else pops in. Let's see. We've got, okay, Lisa G's in England's midnight. Oh, wow, you stayed up for this. That's awesome. Let's say hello. Hi, Yosilanda. Hi, Vlad. Peeps. Hi, David Saunders. Nice to see you. Hal, your beard's on point. Looking good.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Yeah. How are you? Paula Swice. Swiss. From where?
Los Angeles.
L.A. I used to be in L.A. also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Many moons ago. So, UCLA, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm in the West Side. Okay.
You're in the West Side. Okay, very nice. Okay, Brian Brock just logged on. I'm assuming you're a magician, Brian. Are you a musician? I just said magician. I meant to say music. It's not a crash course in the black.
I play the drums. Yeah.
You do? Okay, cool. Okay, excellent. Who else? Oh, hi. How are you?
And I'm a dancer.
Oh, wow.
This is Deborah.
Wow. Amazing. What are you doing during COVID? Are you doing like dirty dancing in the kitchen?
I was closed. The studios are open again, so I'm teaching private lessons, but group lessons have been curtailed.
Okay. Well, God willing, for that reason and so many others, this should be in our rear view mirror sooner than later. Anyways, okay, so welcome. We got Jean here. Welcome back, Jean. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, Jean. Ilana. Ilana, where are you from, Ilana? Ask to unmute. You could unmute for a moment. To be a little sort of interactive. Meanwhile, we have Maish, Paul, Jessica, MH, other Jessica, Casey, Tirza, and Ronnie. Okay. The more I see your faces, it's like spinach and Popeye, right? The more I see it, gives me energy. And this is going to be an amazing class because I don't think it's been done before. And I'll give you a little bit of the history behind why we're doing this. The Jewish music is everywhere, just like every music is everywhere. This is a project of Olami. Olami is a worldwide network. It's on college campuses. It's for young professionals. And they're really wonderful and they're really effective. And I've been working for them for many years. And we've done crash course in Hebrew, in Judaism, in life skills. And I always felt like, what about for the liberal arts people? What about the people who they hum in the shower? There are people who just love music, play music. We need to speak with them. Forget about the doctors and the lawyers. They're good. The accountants, they're being taken care of. But we need somebody to speak for the artist and all of us. So I said, what about crash course in music? And I think there was sort of an uncertainty whether there would be people interested, especially that, as you'll see, I'm going to try to drill it down, and there's no way to cover everything that exists. So we're going to have to drill it down, and I think I'll do a pretty good job at it. But there's always what to quibble about, and would people be interested in Jewish music, where it is today, how it's growing, where it comes from, and can that sustain itself for 4 classes? The answer is absolutely yes. There's more than enough material to go for 40 classes. But we weren't sure. So I'm really glad you guys are on. And we have a very, very, very special treat for you. And I just can't put enough varies under here. I was determined to get some of the major personalities in Jewish music to come on and to address this group for at least 15, 20 minutes. I thought it would be really important. And I really went for the top. Now, I'm just warning all those people who are watching on Facebook, and there are a lot. You're not going to be able to see this because you're not on Zoom. So click the little doohickey and get onto Zoom. Okay, just heads up. I went for the top. And when it comes to not singers necessarily, although he is a singer, but people who sort of invented modern Jewish music, there are 2 people that sit really on top of everyone out there in terms of how they've affected Jewish music. And one of them has passed away quite a while ago. His name was Shlomo Kalbach, and we're going to speak about him in this course. And the other one is Abie Rotenberg. And Abie Rotenberg it's the voice of this generation, the last generation, you name it, he is it. I mean, I told my kids we're having Abie on today. They went crazy, they began singing Abie songs. He's genuinely that big. He really is. And I just figured I'm going to reach out to him and maybe he would be kind enough to pop on and address you. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about who this man is. He's more than a legend. He really is the trailblazer on Jewish music, but we're going to speak about him. A little bit about myself in terms of my connection to Jewish music. So I am very involved in Jewish music. I am not a musician. My kids are musicians. And for those of you that have seen our stuff on Facebook or YouTube or what have you, we do a musical Havdalah each week. And it attracts thousands of people. I think it's considered the musical Havdalah. Even after our house burnt down, about 3 months ago, our house burnt down. And we had 3 pianos in the house. And 3 pianos, big 3. So we got ourselves a piano-like keyboard, and we just began doing Havdalahs again. And the kids, they play violin and they play drums and guitar and all sorts of other things and flute. And the kids they're just really, really a big part of our music. And music is a very big part of our lives. So that's my connection to music is I try to bring up a family that is in love with music. Never forced my kids to play instruments. It was all only from them. They said they want to play, go for it. And some of them got really, really good at it, like competition worthy, that good. And I watched them and I said, wow, I really wish I would have learned to play, but I do compose, and I've been composing since I was 16, and I produce music, and I do it very, very quickly. And I'll be speaking about this throughout our next 4 weeks. Be dropping not entire songs because we don't really have time for like full songs here. Especially this is not a showcase for my music, but I will share with you that the music, Baruch Hashem, it does get out there. Let's see if this works. This should work. Let's see how do we share our screen here? That's strange. I'm not seeing a share screen. Okay, that's so odd. Okay, if I can't share a screen, then I can't show you any of this stuff. Maybe because it's live on YouTube. Okay, so, well, oh, yeah, of course I can, right over here. Let's share a screen. Sorry about that, folks. Okay, we're going to share a screen. I'm just going to show you the first fellow that I produced. His name was Penny Schachter, and this is my bona fides. I'd like to show you that, and this is, for example, one of our videos, and you could see it did very well, 150,000 views, composed by Ben Sion Klatsko, and this is one of the higher ones, but in general, it's not that difficult. When I go live, within a day or two, I'll have 4,000 or 5,000, and then eventually goes 25, 50,000. So people are watching. My goal is not to become famous. I'm a rabbi, I'm not a musician, but I have music in my soul. And that's why I thought this class would be really, really important. And I know that how many people here, you know how to do the little hand raising thing? It's called reactions. If you look at the bottom of your screen, how many people here with their reaction, you could thumbs up, are musicians? If you're a musician, give me a little thumbs up. Okay, we got to right. That's right. Casey's a musician. Ronnie's a musician. Brian is a musician. I know. I asked him. He's a drummer. Anyone else? Okay, these are Tatiana, you're a musician. What do you play, Tatiana?
I'm a singer-songwriter and
No
guitar.
kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding. Okay, amazing. Oh, there we go. That's how you do it, Brian. Okay, fantastic. So what we're going to do is we're going to give the state of Jewish music today, and then we're going to work backwards. And the next class, we're going to go a little bit more to the ancient music and then work our way back up. And God willing, the next class, I'm going to play you the oldest Jewish music in existence. Oldest Jewish music, meaning this music, there were notes that were found, musical notes that were found that are over 600 years old, Jewish music. And they were able to decipher those notes. And I'm going to play you using the original instruments that were made in those days. I'm going to play you this crazy music, 600-year-old Jewish music played in original instruments. But today, we're going to speak about what's the state of Jewish music today. Now, I'm going to say something that it's not controversial, but it's interesting. It's interesting and it's worth noting. I do a lot of trips to Israel, and I have students that are learning about Judaism. We have a lot of students who are actually on this class that are in the middle of learning about Judaism. And I'm really, they were in my class, and it's really exciting that they're here. So one of the things that I noticed is that people who grow up with a kind of Judaism that is less traditional, almost always will know less Jewish music. And it's even more interesting if you do a study. Not only do they know less Jewish music, but they all know the exact same songs. And there's like 10. And if I told it to you, you would nod, right? Okay, you ready to nod? Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Nod if that's yours. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Oseh Shalom Bimramav. Right? Know that? Then we got Hey Venu Shalom Aleinu. This is the grand countdown. Then we've got Hava Nagila. Hava Nagila. They're the same 10. You literally, if you're going to be, I was a rabbi at UCLA. If you're going to be a college rabbi, you got to know 10 songs and you're in like Flynn. You're good to go. Now, if somebody knows a little bit more, they like a little bit more traditional, then they'll know songs like Lo Yisagoyel Goy Cherev. Anyone? No? Okay. Yeah, you know that? Okay. Or they'll know here's another one that it's Israeli in origin. Adon Olam Asher Malach. Right? So these are songs that are well known. If I were to pull my kids in this room, without too much trouble, they can rattle off 1,000 Jewish songs, 1,000, without trouble. And then if you remind them what they know, it could be even more. Why is that? Now, there's another component to this, and this is perhaps even, I don't know if it's more interesting, but it's equally as interesting, which is that these 10 songs all have one theme, and they're almost all missing a second theme. What is the theme of all the 10 songs? Which word do they almost all have in common? Anyone want to venture a guess? They almost all, not everyone, but almost all have one word, and I'll give you a hint. I say it when I see somebody, and I say it when I leave somebody. Anyone want to venture? You know it, right? Shalom. Hey, Venu Shalom. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Oseh Shalom. It's all about peace. Even that song, Lo Yisa Goy El Goy, is really a song about how nations will not rise up against another nation, and they will make war no more, which is peace. There's something that happened to Jewish music, which is it became stripped of its essence. Peace is a very Jewish thing. As a matter of fact, the word shalom is the name of God. It's one of the names of God. You actually can't say, interesting, shalom in the bathroom because it happens to also be God's name. However, there are a lot more emotions to Judaism than just peace. There is sadness. I want songs about sadness. I want songs about hardship. I want songs about love. Yesterday, just a little something. Yesterday, so I made a music video. So I have sort of a perspective on music that perfection is the enemy of good. And if you got a lot of music in your soul and you need it to be perfect when it gets out there, you're never going to get your soul out there. So if you've got music, just get it out there. Let the world enjoy it. And whatever imperfections, don't drive yourself crazy. So because of that, I have a producer, and we pump out a song almost every week, a full production song, usually with a video. So the song that we did yesterday, which is not released, I think it's going to be released tomorrow. The song we did yesterday involved sadness. It was called Hatei Elokai, which means Hashem, hear me, because things are tough and life has not been so easy, but I know that you're the one who has mercy. And that's not Od Yavo Shalom. It's not happiness. It's real. So what I plan on doing, I'm going to do it, is we're going to show you little snippets of things. So would you like, with a nod of that, to see a small snippet of what is not yet released? Yeah, is that a yeah? Okay. This will be short, but hopefully sweet. We'll share our sound. We'll share that. And here we go. I did this in the snow. What do you think? Skip to the end. I know that's not good policy. Anyways, so and honestly, the whole thing was done. I put it on. I put it on Facebook. I do that just to test out music to see if what the criticism should be. But honestly, I did the whole thing on my iPhone. Took 20 minutes to do. Looks great, and it didn't cost me $1 million to make. So Jewish music has a lot of emotion, and we are more than just 10 songs. And the more connected we are to the Almighty, the more music we're going to be putting out there, because life is so complex and it's so many shaded and so full of colors. So this is something that I want to explore. And thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. So today, let's jump to today. Where are we today? Jewish music has boomed. It has exploded. What is Jewish music? If you were to ask someone who doesn't really know or is stuck in the cliche land, they will picture Fiddler on the Roof klezmer. The da 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 da, which is awesome music, by the way. The Fiddler on the Roof is just great. But that's not all of Jewish music. That's not all there is. There's a lot more to Jewish music. And the truth of the matter is, there's every kind of music, from rock to rap to ballads to English music. It's all there. All the music that you would expect in the world has a Jewish version. Now, does that mean the Jewish people plagiarized the secular world? Not really. I mean, number one, a lot of the producers, secular producers who produced guys like Justin Bieber and Taylor Swift, like all those names, many of the producers actually are Jewish people. So actually, who's plagiarizing who? I'm just saying, you got a lot of Jewish people. I was a rabbi in Hollywood for many years, and the Jewish people were pushing the envelope for many, many years. But more than that, it is natural for our music to reflect the culture around us, filtered through the lens of Judaism. And that's why Sephardic music sounds Arabic, right? If you ever listen to Sephardic music, it sounds like a bunch of, that's because they lived in Muslim lands, and therefore their music was a reflection of that. Now, people are always trying, older people trying to say, no, the music is too much. That's too much. But of course, when we were young, our music was too much for our parents. Music evolves, and it's just a way of expressing who we are and what we're feeling on the inside. Now, after the war, Jewish music died. It died. And if you go back to the 1950s and try to find Jewish music, you'd be toast. You'd be finished. There's nothing. It's a barren landscape. There was a fellow by the name of Shlomo Carlebach. Shlomo Carlebach, we'll speak more about him a different time, but Shlomo Carlebach is considered the father of modern Jewish music. He was a very learned man, and he was studying in a yeshiva. And at some point, he went to the rabbi and he said, look, I have all this music in my soul. And he was instructed to go out there and share that music with the world. And Roni, we'll get to Matasio. We're going to cover all that stuff. Yeah, absolutely. And Shlomo Carlebach, he was an Orthodox rabbi. He was a hippie rabbi. And if you see pictures of him, he had a beard and he had longish hair. And he actually, this is not a joke. He started a center in San Francisco called the House of Love and Prayer. Right? That was so 1960s, all the psychedelic stuff going on. House of Love and Prayer, Shlomo Carlebach. And his music transcended all denominations of Judaism. Everyone but everyone uses Carlebach. And since he passed away, his legend has grown exponentially. So there are minyanim, there are services that are out there that are Carlebach services. I mean, Shlomo Carlebach, they use the Carlebach tunes, and I myself ran a Carlebach service for many years until my house burned down. Just in my own little home, we would do Carlebach. And songs that we don't even realize are Carlebach because they're just the fabric of Judaism were his. How many of you know, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai? Yeah, you guys know that? Am Yisrael Chai, here we go. That's Shlomo Carlebach. That's Carlebach. Literally, O Davinu Chai, hey, O Davinu. And even people like, and I'm going to date myself, the Berry sisters, right? Even people like Martin Davidson, like all going all the way back. And I'm not speaking about sort of like the dark ages when Judaism was, where the Jewish music world was just trying to find itself. It was Carlebach. He was that voice in the wilderness. And he was a genius. And his genius, thank you, Lisa. That's really interesting. Lisa writes, a rabbi is not Beverly Hills, introduced me to Rabbi Shlomo's music. And his legend was actually so great that when he passed away, there was really this quiet tension of who would be the next Shlomo. But of course, the answer was nobody, because he was just a unique person. Now, there are people who compose amazing music, and empirically, if you were to take note by note his music compared to others, maybe others are more complicated, but his simplicity just defined Judaism. One tune you may recognize is na 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 na. Very, very easy to pick up, gets into your head. That was Rabbi Shlomo. Now, fast forward, 1960s, early 1970s. So the person we're going to have coming on in 10 minutes, his name is Rabbi Abie Rotenberg, and he was in the early 1970s. He really began to put forth his music, and it added a poetry to Jewish music that didn't really exist until then. There were children's choirs. Some of the famous children's choirs were the London School of Jewish Song. And these are all things you may want to look up at some point by a composer named Yigal Salik. And Yigal Salik is, again, one of the probably top 10 composers in modern Jewish history. And that was through the London School of Jewish Song, a very professional choir in that time. I remember as a kid listening to them. There's a choir that's been around forever called the Miami Boys Choir. How many of you have heard of Miami Boys Choir? You could thumbs up if you have. Miami Boys Choir do not live in Miami. There you go. We got an MH, we got Lisa, Miami Boys Choir. It's very, very complex choral choir. The kids have really crazy voices, and it's run by a dear friend of mine, Yerachmiel Begun, who I may have on at a different point in time. Really, the next great personality in Jewish music was somebody by the name of Mordechai ben David. Mordechai ben David was a person, and I took some pictures of these, so we'll do this. Let's see here. We'll do this little screen share thing. Let's show you a few of the pictures so that we can get a good feeling of what all these people looked like. So here we go. There we go. So Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach. This was the man, the legend, Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach, the holy hippie with his guitar. Interestingly enough, a few years ago, his guitar went on sale. I saw it at an auction. It was going for big money. I don't know if, I'm sure he had more than one guitar, but that was Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach. The next fellow that we want to mention, his name was Mordechai ben David. Now, Mordechai ben David was known, he is a Hasidic Jew. His father was a very prominent, that's not it, one second. Here we go. His father was a very prominent cantor named Rabbi David Werdiger. And I don't know. My car? It's in the car. Sorry about that. Kids borrow cars. So his father was a prominent cantor, and when he was young, he's a little bit of a rebel, and then he got back on track on his first album, and he's made, I don't know, maybe 30 albums, but he was the Hasidic singer, and he was really the first prominent singer in Jewish music, prominent after Carlebach. This is what he looks like. So we'll give you, he looks very Hasidic. Can you guys see that? Okay. Now, of course, he's older. He's still singing in this picture. He did not look like that when he was younger. But one of his songs that you may recognize was Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, Shema Yisrael. Now, that song was actually a little bit controversial when it came out because the words were considered they're very holy words. And when that song came out, he had a very upbeat, almost rock-like vibe to it. And people are like, whoa, what's going on over here? But of course, music evolves, and today that's considered nothing. But what do you know? And that was Mordechai ben David. And he's also known in Jewish music as MBD. MBD. So giving you where we're up to today, you had Shlomo Carlebach, who was really thrived in the 1960s and 70s. Along came this second fellow named Mordechai ben David, and he started pumping out music, and that was the music that I grew up with when I was young. And a lot of his songs became very popular and very famous, and we sang them in choirs. And that lasted for a number of years. I would say, if I had to guess, maybe 8-9 years, until a third person came into the scene. And his name was Avraham Friedman, otherwise known as Avram Fried. Avram Fried. And you may know his nephew, Benny Friedman, who's very famous today. But Avram Fried burst onto the scene. I remember I was in 9th grade, and he had a very, very crystal, beautiful voice. And one of the things that made Avram Fried really stellar was his song choice. Now we had three singers. We had Shlomo Carlebach, and at that time, once Avram Fried, I'll show a little picture of Avram Fried so we can get a good visual. Here we go. Avram Fried. This is him. Again, these are all pictures when they're a little bit older. He started when he was 18 years old, and this would be Avram Fried, right? He's Chabad, and Avram Fried. He sort of revolutionized music once again. His song choice was gorgeous, and there was sort of this feeling of Avram Fried, Mordechai ben David. Now, if you didn't grow up with these people, then it may just sound like I'm saying names. So you could do yourself a favor, or maybe someone, maybe Tirza, if you're on, would you mind putting in the chat just the names as I post them, so if people are interested in following up? It's interesting to hear who the legends were, and it's hard to remember. So if you can, or if someone else wants. Okay, thank you, Tirza. So you can put in Shlomo Kalbach, Mordechai Ben David, and Avram Fried. Now, I'm going to introduce now who Abie Rotenberg is, and I'm going to look forward to him coming on, and I'm going to highlight him. Oh, there's Abie. Hello. Nice to see you. I was about to give you a pre-intro.
Okay.
Okay, so this is okay. This is Abie Rotenberg. So first of all, I want to thank you very much for coming on from Toronto. And we were going through Shlomo Kalbach. We're going to spell it differently, but that's okay. Mordechai Ben David and Avram Friedman. It's real Avram Fried. His real name is Friedman, but it's spelled Fried. You can Google it, Tirza, if you would like, and put that. At that time, a lot of the music that was coming out was very strong, very brassy, a lot of Jewish dance music. I listened to my parents' wedding albums, and it was a lot of brass, a lot of heavy stuff going on. And the sweet, the beautiful, the speaking to the heart, my memories are different. My memories come from Rabbi Abie Rotenberg, who's joined us, and they come from a series of tapes or records of those days, then tapes, then CDs, now something else. And they're known as Devekas. And I think I spelled that right. I put it up there. So you guys, this is all for you to Google. Devekas is what Devekas means, connectedness, to be Dovek, from the word glue, Devekas. And Abie Rotenberg.
On Google, it's probably without the apostrophe.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. So without apostrophe, Devekas. And the songs in Devekas, they didn't just stand the test of time. There's not a Shabbos that goes by where we don't sing Abie's music. There's not a kumsitz. A kumsitz is sort of the Jewish word for kumbaya, where Abie's music is not sung. And at a certain point, it wasn't just Hebrew music, but Abie, and I'm sure he's going to speak about this, began producing and composing English music that my daughter and I, we both write music. So we have a joke called Years Tears, like no Years Tears rhymes. We need a little complexity. We need a message. And, in Judaism, where we speak about crying, so everyone's got the years and so many years, so many tears. Abie produced music that the best I could say is that at supper tonight, when all of our kids were sitting around eating their hamburgers, they were singing a song called Neshamala. And then afterwards, my daughter goes to the piano, and Neshamala is a song by Abie Rotenberg. And then afterwards, my daughter goes to the piano that we have in this house here, and she began to play Joe DiMaggio's card. And in a way, it became the soundtrack of Jewish music today. And not just today, but yesterday and when I was young. So I'm going to stop here. I really thank you. I just asked him today. It's very generous of him to give his time. And you're just an extraordinary person. So I'm going to highlight you over here, and people will be able to see you. Okay. Oh, there we go. Hello.
Yeah. Hi. Thank you for the very nice introduction, for giving me smicha, ordaining me as a rabbi. That was very nice of you to do.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, it's true. I started writing songs when I was a teenager. That's back in the late 1960s, early 1970s. Jewish music in those days, our kind of music. I don't know if Hasidic music is the correct term, but Shlomo Kalbach was the king of music in those days. Every other year he came out with an album, and they were very anticipated. As soon as he would come out with something, we'd run out and buy it and put it on the turntable and listen to it. Obviously today it became a big industry. There are wonderful Jewish performers today who have millions of followers on social media. But in those days, it was a pretty small industry. And you're right, most music was always had a saxophone. There was always a trumpet, a lot of banging, and mostly upbeat wedding music. There were occasionally some very nice slow songs, but the chaver that I was associated with back in yeshiva, we very much enjoyed the style of, like you say, the kumzitz, where you gather around a campfire, or Shabbos afternoon, while the sun is going down and Shabbos is leaving, singing those kinds of songs with a lot of longing, spiritual longing. And we went ahead and made an album that was almost completely those types of songs. We didn't have any fast songs. Everything was slow and serious and very spiritual. And thankfully, it was well accepted, and people enjoyed those songs very much.
So can I share with everyone that we're sharing songs that people would know, and one of the songs that certainly has transcended, because we have people over here who grew up Reform and conservative and not connected, but this is a song that everyone sings. If you've heard this song, Acheinu Kol Beis Yisrael, like wherever we go, NCSY, it's a staple. You literally can't.
I think the most widely recorded song of mine is a song called, we called it Boi V'Shalom on the fourth Vekas album, but it's sung in conservative and Reform synagogues as Lecha Dodi. So that song was widely recorded by many groups, conservative and Reform, as well as Orthodox. So it's nice to have music all over the place. It's a very, very nice feeling. What should I tell you?
Absolutely.
I've been blessed. I thank the good Lord above for making me his agent or messenger to bring these tunes down to earth.
Wow.
I used to say that about Shlomo. He was he had a pipeline to the angels. He overheard them singing up in Shemayim, and he brought it down to earth.
Wow. So first, I want to encourage everyone as we continue to please look up Abie Rotenberg, and I'll show you how it's spelled. We'll put it in the chat, and I can even give you some of my favorites. Did I spell it wrong? B-U-R-G?
Oh, Rotenberg.
Did you make up in a Winkler State Tata Tata?
No, that was Rabbi Menachem Davidowitz who wrote that song. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Right after the Yom Kippur War.
Oh, wow.
That's a story about a father crying. His son went off to war, and he's crying to God in heaven that haven't we gone through enough already? 1973 was not that many years after the Holocaust, and you could certainly understand that sentiment. And seeing a child, maybe he was a Holocaust survivor himself, whose child had to go fight during the Yom Kippur War, and he was crying to God, and he said, Tata, Tata, our Father, haven't we been through enough already? And please don't forget us.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we're starting off this session with what's the state of Jewish music today? Now, being I know it makes you smile, being somebody who is literally a visionary and a pioneer, are you excited about the proliferation and the diversity of music?
Yeah.
Do you feel, yeah?
I am. I think music is always changing. It's always growing. It's always spreading its wings. What my father enjoyed singing influenced me, but the music that of my generation was different. The music of my children is different than mine, and their children is different than theirs. It always changes, always grows. I realized, even when I started writing songs in English, which was unique in those days, not many people were doing it. Moshe Yes was a great songwriter. There were several other people who had a few good songs, but nobody really did albums. And I always felt that the time would come by the next generation, certainly 2 generations later, there'd be hundreds of English songs. And today you have that. People are writing songs in English all the time, expressing their Judaism, the pain, the struggle, the feelings of closeness to God, how God influences their lives. And also people are composing in Hebrew, in Ivrit. There are many, many songs today that are happening. Wonderful composers, Yishai Ribo and the
Amir
and a few
Dador.
others.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So music is great. Music always grows and always changes. And, it's just like Torah, Torah, you can't, if we were somehow thrown back 1,000 years in time and we decided to study by Rabbi Akiva or from Moses, the great Moses, we wouldn't understand what they were talking about because we're too far away from that. Things have to go generation to generation. Our teachers can be from the last generation. And music too. It changes, it moves, it shifts, and it slowly evolves, and it's going to continue to do so.
So how is it that even though most music people move on from as the newer stuff comes out, your music has absolutely withstood the test of time and is sung, it's really sung everywhere all the time, and it never gets old? What do you attribute
I
that?
told Baruch Levine once, I said, it's not how hot your song is when it comes out of the oven, it's how long it stays warm. So yeah, I've been fortunate that I have some songs that are still relevant. People still sing it, whether, like you say, out of kumsitz, or they use it in the liturgy, in the synagogue, in the shul. Some of the English songs have made a strong impact because of the themes behind those songs, the messages behind those songs. I'm working now on a fifth Journeys album. So I began my first album in 1984. So that's 36 years ago, and I have 4. So if I come out with another one this year, it'll be like 5 albums, and once every 7 or 8 years, another album. It's not bad. It's not bad.
We're very, very excited. Can we play a little Journeys game here? I'm going to give you a song, and you, in a few sentences, what was the motivation behind it? And we'll just go through some of the songs that we all sing.
I would tell you before you do that about previous songs. So I can tell you that on this coming album, hopefully by the end of the year, by Hanukkah, it'll be out. I have 3 songs about the Holocaust.
Wow.
3 songs, because the Holocaust is so important to us, and as not only a matter of history, but as an existential moment in the history of the Jewish people, and the fact that we're still here, and the survivors are leaving us. There's so few left. It's hard to get firsthand accounts anymore. My parents went through the war. My in-laws, they both passed away recently in the last few years, and they used to talk about it extensively. I mean, we're almost not going to have people to do that. So I feel very strongly, as a child of survivors, to leave that imprint. Hopefully, it'll make an impact and keep that burning.
Very looking forward to that. You have a song about the world keeping quiet when the very last survivor fades away. What's the name of this song?
Memories.
Memories.
What will become of all the memories? Yes.
Okay. So, Tirza, when we name the song, can you put it in the chat so that people can love? These are, I mean, it's very hard to, Abie and I spent the Shabbos together in Dallas, I think it was,
Yes.
and we had this conversation, which is your favorite song. And I would say one, and you'd say, but what about this one? What about this one? And I know they were like your children. Like, it's hard to choose a favorite. But
I heard that answer. I heard Ben Shenker gave that answer. They asked him what his favorite composition was. He said, you can't ask me what my favorite song is, just like you can't ask me who my favorite child is. I always tell people that I hope my favorite song is something I haven't written yet. So that means there's hope for the future. Something good is coming up down the pike.
Amen. So what will become of all the memories? A devastatingly impactful song. And that was a Holocaust song. Abie wrote a song for Hask about children with Down syndrome, children who are special needs, and rarely has a song said in so many words how to treat these kind of children, who they are vis-a-vis the person who are looking at them and saying, I don't know, how am I supposed to react? Can you speak a little bit about that? I think it's called Who Am I?
Yeah, the title of that song is Who Am I? So after the first Journeys album came out, so people started who wanted original thoughts to be written in English songs. They started to turn to me to try to write songs for them. And most of the time I wasn't able to. It's very difficult to write on demand. Like I say, it's an album comes out once every 10 years or whatever. But I received a videotape. It was in the mid 80s. I received a videotape from HASC. It's the Hebrew Academy for Special Children. They run a summer program, and someone sent a video cassette of, wasn't professional, it was just somebody walking around the camp carrying a video recorder. And the sight, the visuals of seeing these children with the struggles, cerebral palsy and muscular dystrophy and Down syndrome and all kinds of problems and challenges, and the smile on their faces and the joy that they had swimming in a pool and interacting with counselors, and I watched it several times, and I was struck by the way they would laugh, and then you'd see them crying in other situations and enjoying this and not enjoying that. And I started to realize that, you know, we have so much in common, even though we have much that differs between us. You know, we're healthy, we're able to do things on our own, but aspirations for love and aspirations for happiness and aspirations for music and joy and relationships and how we all hate loneliness and sadness, and we have all those things in common. So the song says, you may not know who I am, you may not be able to say my own name, but I certainly share all these things. You know who I am. I'm just like you in so many different ways. And that's the song. And thankfully they enjoyed it. And I sang it a few times on stage for them. And
It's a legendary song.
Very enjoyable to do.
Wow, amazing. Okay, we have to speak about Joe DiMaggio's card. You told me it was one of your favorite. Joe DiMaggio's card is also my daughter's favorite. Can you tell us the story? Is it a true story? Is it based? How'd you come? I know you're a baseball fan. Read your book, Pepsi. Yeah.
The Season of Pepsi Myers. I
Right.
highly recommend it. My own commercial here.
Let me put it's called A Season of Pepsi Myers, right?
The Season of Pepsi Myers. It's available on Amazon. Anyone can, just check the title there, and it's available in paperback. And if you enjoy baseball, and you don't have to be a Yankee fan, but it helps. And
okay, so what inspired you? What's the story of the song for those who haven't heard it, and what inspired it?
Well, Joe DiMaggio's card really started off as the idea originally that I had was that, when we went to yeshiva, when I was a young boy in yeshiva, all the great rabbis that we learned about and heard about were European. They spoke Yiddish. They were the Reb Chaim Brisker from here and the Chafetz Chaim from there, and these great rabbis were all European. And we didn't really have a relationship with those types of rabbis if there was a language barrier. But all the great ones had to have come from Europe. I mean, nobody who grew up in New York or Chicago or Los Angeles was going to be from the leaders of the Jewish people. They were all the old European leaders. And I started to realize as I was growing up that these older leaders are dying out. And at some point in time, the great Jewish leaders are going to be coming from America. They're going to be American born, as they are today, very much so. And the idea in my head was that no matter how great, let's say, one of my colleagues becomes, and he may become the leader of the entire Jewish world, the greatest rabbi in the world, his beard, halfway down to the floor, and everybody goes to him for counsel and for halachic decisions, he'll always be Sammy to me, or he'll always be Herbie to me, because I play ball with him now, and I'm friendly with him, and we're, sharing comic books. So whatever it is that we're doing, we're American kids. We grew up as American kids. And yes, maybe 40, 50, 60 years from now, he'll be he'll be this great rabbi, but to me, he'll always be my friend growing up. So that was the original idea. And then later they came out with the concept of Gedolim cards. So we had baseball cards, and everybody had their own baseball card collection. I had mine. But then in the Orthodox Jewish communities and circles, they started printing cards of great rabbis, and the kids would collect them, and they'd see this rabbi and that rabbi, and they'd trade them. And I don't know if they flipped them, but they used to trade them.
Yeah.
So I melded the two ideas together, and I came up with the story of two friends, and one became a great rabbi, and the other one became a businessman, and how they were playing ball together as kids, and they loved Joe DiMaggio, and one of them got the card, had Joe DiMaggio's card, and he kept it, took good care of it, became worth a lot of money, and he used that card in the end to sell it to save his friend's school, his yeshiva, which was in financial distress. And in the very, very end, he collects a card of his friend and puts it away in his drawer and is very proud of it. So it's a story of growth, how we as a community have grown and changed, how the American scene has gone from collecting baseball cards or honoring the icons of baseball, and today we honor the icons of Torah. So it has many layers, the song, and I recommend that everybody go out and listen to it.
Amazing. Yeah, that definitely that, and so many more of Abie's songs are, it's worth going on an Abie marathon. That's the truth. You just click on, we got to do one more song, and then we'll just take, I don't know if the people have a few questions, but
Sure. If anybody has questions, I'm happy to try to answer. You mentioned before about memories, about the song about the Holocaust. That was a very difficult song to write, because how do you write about the unthinkable? How do you write about something so painful and so distressing? And I think many people misunderstand the song. You know, it's not a song promoting, you know, the never forget or never again. It's really not doing that. Although, of course, we shouldn't forget. We have to remember what happened to us. It's a mitzvah in the Torah to remember every aspect of Jewish history, the good and the bad. But when I say what will become of all the memories, those memories are gone in this world. I mean, there are so many people, we have no pictures of them. We have no documentation about them. There are millions of children, nobody ever saw their faces. They're just names in a ledger. There is absolutely no memory of them. What will become of all the memories? And we don't have them. We can't even remember them. We can remember a number. We can remember and say there were 1.5 million children who passed away. And I would think that probably, you know, the majority of them, there's absolutely no photograph of those children anywhere in the world. So those memories are gone from this world. But the end of the song says, they're not gone. God remembers them. God remembers every face. God remembers every neshama, every soul. There is a connection. It lives on. There is somebody there. So as much as we think those memories have been floated away and like dust in the wind, the memory is held and kept somewhere up in heaven. And I guess we'll all get to meet those children, you know, sometime in the future. Anyway, that was the idea behind that song.
A powerful song. 1.5 million children. That's the number they give, 1.5 million children. But anyone, this is a really rare opportunity. Would anyone like to ask Abie Rotenberg a question, or you have a comment about a song of yours a song of his that affected you? This is an opportunity. Can I say hello?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. This is my daughter. She plays
Right.
your music constantly.
You have good taste.
What's your favorite Abie Rotenberg song?
The Shabbat.
The Shamala.
Well, that tells the story of life. We believe that a soul is made up in heaven, and God sends that soul down to earth, actually with a malach, with an angel. He puts it in the hands of an angel, and the angel brings it down to earth, places the soul inside a little baby, and we believe that the soul up in heaven doesn't really want to come down. Like it says, why would I want to spend time on earth? There's so much pain, there's so much suffering on earth. But then once we become people, once we're born and we live our lives, we certainly don't want to give our souls back. We're petrified of death. We're petrified of what's going to come. So the song talks about coming down, worrying about what life is going to be like. A person lives his life, and then, of course, the fear of going back. And it's a comforting song, because it tells you that if you live your life properly and do what you can on earth to help others and live your life the right way, that there's a good chance you'll go back up in the end. You'll have a place by the throne when you get back to heaven. So that was a lot of fun to write.
It was a stunning song. When I wanted to tell my children, guess who's coming on the Zoom tonight? So I had them guess, and they guessed a few guesses. Finally, I said, "But dear Malachal, no!" And they said, "Oh, Abie's coming on." Brian, yeah, Brian, you've got a question, or not, Brian? I don't know
Yeah, my wife.
your wife. Yes.
Hi, my name is Deborah. Abraham, I just wanted to say I was very touched by your song, Who Am I? It brought tears to my eyes when you described it.
Wow. Thank you.
And I want to share it with my friends who have special needs children.
Yes.
I'm going to share it with them.
I think it will give them a feeling of validate the efforts that they put in for their child, and getting a half a smile out of a child like that can light up the day for a family, for parents. And by the way, it deserves a song of its own. It's the heroic efforts of these parents and people and educators and people who work with these children. I mean, it's just it's God's work. It's God's work on earth, and it's a wonderful thing to be able to help them. Any little help, any little bit. Yeah.
Is it on YouTube? How do I download it?
I just put in the link. I just put the link.
They're on Apple Music. They're on iTunes. The albums are called Journeys. I have 4 albums called Journeys, and just put my name in and the word Journeys and look for Who Am I. I think Who Am I is on the 3rd or 4th album. I'm not sure. I think the 3rd album.
I'll tell you, Who Am I is on volume 3. Yes, it's a 3rd volume, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Does anyone else? Thank you so much. Anyone else have a question for Abie? You had made this song about the Swiss bankers.
Yeah, that really bothered me. When we found out that close to $1 billion had been stashed away by the Swiss bankers, and they wouldn't release these funds after the Holocaust to the descendants of people who survived, because they couldn't procure a death certificate. When they came to the bank, I said, "Well, show me that your parents died." Well, my father was from Poland, and they killed 3 million Jews in Poland. That wasn't good enough. So I decided to get a little bit sarcastic about Switzerland and poke fun at them a little bit. But it's a song, but a little social commentary. I poke fun at lavish weddings too, that we very often do within our own communities. And I grew up on folk music. My early Simon and Garfunkel and the Mitchell Trio. So those were some folk singers who used to enjoy commenting on what was going on in society, and I picked up a little bit of that from them.
Wow.
That's almost time to say good Shabbos.
That's
that is the first song I ever wrote. The first song in English that I wrote was "It's Time to Say Good Shabbos."
Did you do that with Rafi Butler?
No. Rafi and I are old friends. We go back a long way, but no, Rafi, I was living in Los Angeles at the time, and Rafi was back in New York. But, the Jewish people have a special gift. It's called Shabbos. We get to shut our phones and shut our appliances and sit with our children and sing songs and talk about stuff and reconnect and Shabbos. I mean, Shabbat.com. Rabbi Ben Sion Klasko is the ultimate what should I say? The person who sells tickets to Shabbos more than anybody else and has spread the good word about it. And we have to, pass it on to people. So all your work is done. You work 6 days a week. That's enough. Let the seventh day be about you, your family, God, connecting to Him, and it's a special gift. So I think I was able to capture that feeling in the song, and I'm very proud of that one.
We know it word for word,
Uh,
word for word.
thank you.
And there's a song that I don't think it ever came out on
My favorite song is the Atheist Convention.
Who's that? Who's saying that?
No, that was yours.
No, I know, but I want to see who made the comment.
Oh, Yossi.
Hi, Yossi.
Oh, that was me, Yossi Landa.
Hi, Yossi. How you doing?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the Atheist Convention. So, the idea that
Big fan.
the idea that there are no atheists in a foxhole, but instead of a foxhole, it was a plane trip, and on the plane trip were three friends. One was Christian, one was Muslim, and one was Jewish. And as the plane's going down on the way to this atheist convention in Los Angeles, they all start praying to their respective deities, and they realize the hypocrisy is that when life is going well and good and everything's fine, dandy, they don't need God, so why believe in God? But when their plane's going like this, they all start praying. And then when the plane pulled out of its dive at the end, they looked at themselves, and I guess they decided not to go, and they all changed their lives a bit. So that was a lot of fun to write that song as well.
Wow.
Anyway, listen, check out the music. Today you're lucky. You don't have to buy a whole album before you get to hear one song. You can pick a song and see if it makes an impact. And if it does, try another song. And Rabbi Ben-Sion can help you, pick the best ones.
Al Tam V'Reach, but the truth is, we hear one song again and again in our house that I don't think ever made it onto an album, about Eli Teitelbaum, Umatztikei.
Umatztikei Harabim, yeah.
It's a chorus that is just so hooky. So. Actually,
my daughter wrote part of that song, so I enjoyed very much. I'm at the point where my children are writing songs and contributing. Actually, 2 of the Holocaust songs that will be on this album were mostly written by children of mine, so that makes me very proud.
That's nice.
Yeah.
We're so honored that you came on. It's a very rare opportunity.
Thank you so much for having me, and all the best to all of you people, and enjoy Jewish music and all aspects. Look, music, what is music? Music is like spicing a food. You put spice on a food because without the spices, the food is bland, and the verses from the Bible or from the liturgy may just be a little bit, more enhanced and more easy to enjoy and experience and feel when it's cloaked with music. So use that opportunity to get closer to God and to Hashem, and to grow in your understanding of what our faith is all about. And whether it's my song or somebody else's song, but hopefully you'll all find your way on that journey. Take care, everyone. Thank you, Rabbi Ben-Sion. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. And for everyone else who's here, I look forward. This is a really rare opportunity. The more you Google him, the more you'll see, like, wow, that was the guy who just came on, and so down to earth. Really the soundtrack for a lot of people. We will finish by saying that next week we're going to get more contemporary and then go back, because we didn't cover all of the names and some of the music. And we'll wish everyone a wonderful week. If you're interested in looking up some of my music, you could just put it in composed by, and you'll find it. But if I were you, I would check out Abie's first, because that's the stuff of legend. But this is our stuff, and we're fortunate to have the children on board. So I think what we're going to do is we'll finish up with one song, with just a few bars from a song. Our family did a song together, and the name of the song is called Al Tira Avdi Yaakov, which means don't fear, my son Yaakov. Don't fear. You have nothing to fear. And this song did very well. And we're gonna put this up right now, and you'll be able to hear just see a few bars of it. And what it happens is each of my children sing a line of the song, and it's a way of keeping everyone involved. So we'll end with this, and if anyone is interested, they can check that out. And this is, oops. Let's see if it's letting me share. There we go.
Hashem es Yaakov al tira avdi Yaakov tarach koichav mi Yaakov al tira avdi Yaakov Habayim Yashem Yaakov al tira avdi Yaakov al tira avdi Yaakov
Okay, so that's the Kinderlach. Thank you. Thank you for watching. And I'm really excited. Hi, Tirza. Well, thank you very much. And God willing, we're going to get another good star next week. And thank you for taking this journey together with all of us, understanding Jewish music. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.